Oregon Public Health Advisory Board. And Betty's held a wealth of experience and a wealth of healthcare makes her a natural fit for this position. And that is a quote from Mayor Denny Doyle. So, ladies and gentlemen, please give your attention to a candidate for Washington County Commissioner, Position 1, Betty Bodie.
And I'd like to thank the forum for offering this opportunity for me to share my thoughts and vision for Washington County District 1. And after talking to people in the room, I guess some who live out of District 1 are going to get my perspective too. Okay? This is my whole premise. We must nurture the health of our community by nurturing the health of the economy in order to nurture the health of the citizens. We have to have jobs in order to take care of our citizens. Now, I'm going to first just say this. Did I get 7 minutes? My card person is all, you all queued up? Okay, you got a Dick Scouting button on? Okay, I'm just checking with the timer. Okay. You have had a decade of leadership in Beaverton, Aloha, Cooper Mountain. And I'm offering you a group of fresh ideas, a new set of energy, and a new way of looking at the county. I also want to point out, road congestion on TV Highway in Farmington did not happen the day I announced I was running for county commissioner. The homeowners that have lost their homes in Aloha, that Aloha has more renters than homeowners and has the highest subgroup of foreclosures, did not happen when I announced that I was going to run. You need to have a county commissioner that's 24/7, that's connected. And I have a history of being connected with the city of Beaverton, and that's what I want to bring forward. And these are the 3 points. I have 103 points. That's because I have a PhD. But I was told, put it down to 3 concrete points. So let me give you the first one. Okay? Jobs are critical to the foundation of the quality of our life. We have to do more than just talk about jobs. So let me give you an example. I don't talk about jobs. As a city councilor, I brought forth an initiative to the city council and the budget committee that said we should role model in these tough times. So in 2008, I presented the fact that we should offer an internship for students who are getting out of high school and students who are in college programs to come and do on-the-job training at the city of Beaverton, whether it was in public works, whether it was in the mechanic shop, engineering, or whether it was in some of the professional fields. We now have that part of our budget, and we invite students to come and work at the city in cooperation with their school so they can get some on-the-job training. If we had shop classes for the public, for public works and for machines and doing that, then maybe we might not have offered that, but our shop classes have disappeared. Not everyone is going to need to go to college. We need those hands-on people. So I brought it forward, it was embraced, it's now part of the budget. So when I set out to do something, I get it accomplished. Second thing, which is totally critical in looking at business, you have to have, right now in our environment, we want to retain the businesses we have, and we want to encourage them to expand by giving them incentives. One example of non-expansion is adding a grocery store. If there are 4 grocery stores in my neighborhood, and I have $100 a month to spend on groceries, and the 5th grocery store moves in, I still don't have more than $100. We have to look critically at the kind of businesses that we bring in. And businesses we bring in want to have businesses that bring in new revenue sources, not reshuffle the current revenue sources. Second thing, housing. Housing choices have to be our first and top priority. Do you know that in the city of Beaverton, if you just looked at the housing units, the residential units, only 33% of those residential units have kids that go to school. So that means there are 66% who don't have kids in school and who might like to sell their large home where they had their kids and go to a different form of housing. Right now in Beaverton, we don't have any more 10,000 square foot lots. The biggest demand we have in our housing inventory for the city of Beaverton is single story housing. We have, 2 minutes? Oh, okay. I can skip right past that and go to another one. We also, in housing, we need to look at where are our houses, and we have to give people this critical choice. Some people need to have their house near the transportation that gets them to work. Some individuals need to have a house near a school so they can have their children connected with the community of other children. And then the third group are those people who might like to say, I'm fortunate I don't have to work. I think I'd like to be next to a park, next to nature. I don't need to be in the hub. I can step back. Are we offering these people these choices? I say we need some new leadership that brings a new breath in and says, yes, look at the possibilities. And for Aloha, we have to look at the possibilities of what's the potential for infill. 1 minute, thank you, I'm going to my third point. Third point is traffic congestion and traffic transportation. I find this absolutely phenomenal. TV highway is past capacity, we know that. It didn't happen the day I announced I was running. The leadership and the transportation congestion have been growing simultaneously. The congestion has been increasing and increasing, and only when it gets to a critical point, 30 seconds to go. So, the question on transportation is, okay, come up with this, but we don't have the money. But I can offer you some options. I can offer you that when we start looking at transportation, we look at safe transportation. For example, lighting at intersections, signage for individuals as they cross from their housing across TV highway. Same thing with Farmington Road. We also put in better signalization so we get better turns. If we, please close. If we don't do that, what happens is we put cars on the highway, we increase the carbon footprint because we're in congestion. We need to move with some simple lighting, safe transportation. Just stay there, sir, and I will wind up. This all goes to improving the quality of life within the budget and bringing some new life and new discussion. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Betty. Our next candidate is actually our incumbent, Dick Scouten. He's following right from the Netherlands. At age 4, Dick spent his childhood in Fresno, California. Commissioner Scouten completed his undergraduate work at Santa Clara University, earned his degree from law degree from UCLA, and after serving as legal counsel in California cities, he and his wife, they moved to Oregon, to Washington County. Commissioner Scouten represents the Make Our Park Whole Committee, which helped to obtain a 22-acre addition to the Tualatin Hills Nature Park. In 2003, he was awarded the Legislature of the Year by the Oregon Parks Provider. It's my pleasure at this time to present Washington County Commissioner Dick Scouten.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak today at the Washington County Public Affairs Forum. I wanted just to touch briefly on bio and endorsements, talk about my achievements over these 12 years, not quite 12 years I've been on the Board of Commission, talk about 3 or 4 items that I think are important going forward in Washington County. I do have about 15 years of law practice in local government law work, assistant city attorney, etc. It gave me a very strong background in local government work. Since moving to Oregon, I practiced law in a couple of different areas and became increasingly more involved in neighborhood politics, particularly the West Beaverton Neighborhood Association, and I've been on the board since 2000. Let me touch briefly on endorsements. I've gotten the endorsement of both Commissioner Greg Malinowski and Bob Terry, so I think that covered the political waterfront pretty well. Got the endorsement of our district attorney, Bob Berman, our immediate past sheriff, Rob Gordon, and our current sheriff, Pat Garrett. In terms of achievements on green spaces and parks, I was directly responsible for the public acquisition of over 160 acres of parks and green spaces, all inside our urban growth boundary, including Mount Williams, a 30-acre hilltop property in Beaverton, 22-acre Softwoods, and the Tualatin Hills Nature Park, and also park sites in Tigard, Bull Mountain, northeast Washington County, and out in the Ringo Gulf course area as well. And there's several exciting projects that are in the pipeline in Beaverton and Aloha. I have been the board's leader for Washington County's 10-year plan to end homelessness. 4 years ago, I successfully lobbied the board to adopt Washington County's 10-year plan to end homelessness. Since then, I successfully lobbied for additional county dollars at key county budget hearings to keep this cost-effective program in course. I note that Kathy Stanton is here today, and she also spoke as a key witness in one of those hearings, and I appreciate her help in that area. In the last month, we did have a noted national speaker on homelessness come to our county, Phil Mangano, and I used that opportunity to really solidify our board's commitment to the 10-year plan to end homelessness, which is both humane and cost-effective. Regarding the West Side Transportation Alliance, I led efforts to save the West Side Transportation Alliance, which is Washington County's only traffic management association. It was near death 4 years ago. I joined the WTA Board of Directors, resecured county's past financial commitments and participation in the WTA, did a significant amount of fundraising, recruited several new, very high-quality private and public sector board members, and worked with my colleagues on the WTA board to hire a new executive director who's really been successful, really going out and doing a great job. I've been a transportation leader in this county. I've joined my fellow county commissioners in, number one, investing many tens of millions of dollars on road improvements all across the county, including Southwest 170 between Brigard and TV Highway, Baseline Road between the Nike campus and Hillsboro, Southwest 185th between TV Highway and Kinnaman, eliminating a former bottleneck at Farmington Road near 170th, and eliminating an offset intersection that was a real problem in Southwest Shoals Ferry Road near Roy Rogers and 175th. I successfully lobbied for a recently awarded community development block grant to close some key sidewalk gaps along Southwest 173rd, which is near Aloha Huber K-8 School and the Vales Thriftway Shopping Center. And I've been a regional leader on bike transportation to enable this region and the county to make smart, cost-effective bicycle transportation investments. I learned firsthand a lot of lessons learned from a German Marshall Fund organized trip I took in 2008 in Amsterdam and Copenhagen, two cities that are world leaders in this field. Smart budgeting, hiring, and appointment decisions. I'm proud of our board's prudent budgeting. I'm proud of our board's hires. We hired Chief Administrative Officer Bob Davis, County Counsel Alan Rapplier, and I was the point person on the board for that hire, and for the General Manager, Bill Gaffey. I proudly stand by our board's collective decision to appoint Rob Gordon as sheriff 9 years ago and Pat Garrett as new sheriff about half a year ago. And some years back, John Leaper's appointment to replace Delma Jones on the County Board of Commissioners. And our board's state legislative appointments have been excellent too. Some of my leadership qualities, I've workforce in the state of Oregon at the county level. These are key things the commissions can do, or well within their power to do, to enable our private sector to grow more jobs in this county. Meanwhile, my past decisions, which were collectively made to participate in the Oregon Strategic Investment Plan, the SIP program, currently anchors over 17,000 high-paying Intel and Genentech jobs in Washington County, currently creates thousands of construction jobs at Intel's D1X fab site, and will create 1,000 new high-paying trade sector jobs about a year from now when that fab site opens. I will continue to work hard to make sure Washington County remains the state's principal economic engine. Thank you.
Thank you, Betty. Thank you, Dick. Very nice. One more round of applause, please. And now it's time for the Q&A. So again, both microphones are available. So we'll come up and go from one side to the other and back again. So,
Forest Health Forum member. Last Saturday, the Oregonian was a very comprehensive review of Washington County's traffic situation. The situation, as I see it, as they see it, was that in the last 10 or 15 years, even with a projected population increase, no new thoroughbred highways have been proposed nor constructed. We're looking at 400,000 more people, and that equates to about 31,000 more families, each one of which will have an automobile and a half. Where are we going to put those people in view of the congested roadways we have now? No new projects have been proposed or started.
Well, I'd have to respect to disagree, Forrest, because we have been building road projects all over the county and will continue to do so.
Those are not thoroughfares. Those are widening existing.
No, we're building arterials. We've made commitments to widening. In fact, have helped fund with the state of Oregon additional lane on Highway 26 between 217 and 185th. We are going to continue to grow. We will continue to have congestion, but we will continue to apply somewhere between $25 to $33 million per year on additional road projects and other transportation projects, a mixture of roads, arterials, some freeway expansion, and also some very significant new work in the area of bicycle and sidewalk improvements. It'll be a constant struggle for us, but no one else in this state has got that kind of ongoing funding and also a well-maintained area of this district. So we're doing as best as I think anyone can do with that program we have.
With the lack of funding, when we look at transportation needs to meet the increased population, while we work with the Department of Transportation and we look at grants for funding, I think we can implement methods that will cut down on congestion by new signalization, the turns, increased lighting, and we do have to look realistically that if you widen one lane and move it up 1,000 feet, you just move the congestion up 1,000 feet. We also have to look at the bus situation on TV Highway that causes great congestion because they just have a little pullover instead of going to a jump lane, which means that they can start going and get up to speed before they get in, and that will stop some of the congestion. Until we get the commitment from the county and the state and agree that we need to have a transportation system, then we're going to have to come up with these safe alternatives so we can move traffic, especially in considering the high cost of gasoline. Please close. Thank you.
and we have time for one more question. So we're running a little short today.
Eric Squires, forum member. Excluding transportation, what is, in your opinion, the most important pressing issue for the Aloha Rebuilt Vermont area?
necessarily have to be a city that can provide those kinds of services. I think there's a lot of different ways of doing this. Number two, we need, more in a very discreet way, we need a very dynamic community center in Aloha, which will include perhaps the next generation of library services. That I think is also a very important piece, and I think also want to see some real tangible results from the extensive study. One thing that the chair and I have been looking at already for TV Highway is some kind of a really high quality rapid bus service that could run on TV Highway.
A couple of things for Aloha and Reedville. The first thing is, I agree on governance. The second thing is to take a realistic look at the income that is generated within the Aloha Reedville area, and the fact that we have 7,000 jobs, and to look for an opportunity center where you have affordable housing that's next to transit, that has a business center, all within reach, so that within the Aloha region that they can have their own economic development. I think that is absolutely key. Second thing is, I think the cruelest thing we can do to Reedville and Aloha is to start throwing out big dreams that aren't going to happen in the next 20 or 30 years. I think you have to make a plan that has financial viability to achieve the plan. The library is a good start. I don't see in the next 5 years where the library is going to be a huge standalone like the city of Beaverton. I also think that the citizens of Aloha really need to look at what is the cost of the governance that they choose, and it's going to be your decision. And I'd be more than happy to walk through that process with all of you. And thank you very much. And I'm going to just make one thing, because I know John will let me. I chair the End Homelessness Committee, and I was the one who put the program together that brought businesses, community leaders, and nonprofits together to meet with Philip Mangano, and I worked with Vision Action Network as a board of directors. I put that program together. I think my opponent might have forgot to tell you that. Thank you.
All right, let's give both a big hand for their. And Esther, if you'd like to come up and tell us about next week.
Actually, I think your point made told is that most of the work was actually done by Karen Terrarosa Kelly, so that's Vision Action Network, but you do get some credit.
You know what? I want to give you this. Kim, one of the nonprofits, said she had tried for 6 years to put together a homeless with Philip Mangano, and she runs the neighborhood center, and she said, we can't do it. And she said, Bodie, how did you do it? And I said, I did it in one call because Philip is a friend of mine.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay, first of all, I want once again to say thank you to all 4 people who were here today and explained their presidences and their stuff with politics. So, thank you. And next week, we are going to have Beaverton City Council Position 3, which are Mark Fagan and Rob Solomon, and the judges of Oregon Court of Appeals, Position 6, will be Alan J. Harlow, James C. Egan, and Timothy Volpert. So with that, I think everybody's done a great job, had a good time, enjoy yourselves, and enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Thank you.
I'm sure trying, but I think I forgot to